York Mets Nation, and welcome to the Bat Cave. I'm your host, the Bat Frie Ken Frie. And you know what day it is. It's Hump Day! Whoop, whoop! Hump Day. There we go. I hope everybody's doing well on their Hump Day. Halfway through the work week here. And I guess we'll talk a little bit of spring training. I don't have a whole lot to talk about. I'm ready for the season to start. I'm ready for the games to start. That's when things become a little bit more serious, a little bit more meaningful. So just talking now, it's kind of like all small sample sizes, and it's like, some guys are playing half games or one at bat or whatever. It's hard to judge or gauge anything off of spring training for most players. You get some players that spring training is going to be huge for them because they're fighting for spots. Look at Beatty, Vientos, guys like that. Everybody's curious as to what Starling Marte, what's he going to look like? Is he going to have a bounce back season? I hear a lot of positive things out of winter ball down in Dominican, and you hope that carries over. So spring training is big for those guys like that. To see if they can carry some positivity over, see if they can turn things around, or see if they can create a positive buzz or vibe compared to what they had last season. So I mean, looking at our most of our guys that we believe are going to make the roster and stuff like that, our hitting's been struggling a little bit as of late. So looking at just some batting averages. Again, super small sample size, so you can't really gauge a whole lot out of it. But some of it, really kind of raises your eyes, your eyebrows, not raises your eyes. Raise your eyes. Eyes are all the way up here at the hairline. Then that's weird looking. You raise your eyebrow at. That's what I meant to say. You have your Brandon Nimmo hitting 294. He has 5 hits so far. Again, small sample size. But that's what we kind of expect out of Brandon Nimmo. You want anywhere 280, 290, getting on base more than he did last season. Taking more pitches, I should say. Actually, he got on base pretty decent last season, but didn't take a whole lot of pitches. He was swinging early last season. Season prior, taking a lot of pitches. Seeing a lot of pitches. Getting more walks. That's what we want out of Brandon Nimmo. We want Brandon Nimmo to see quite a few pitches per at bat. To help the rest of the team. I don't know if he's going to lead off or not. It's something we could talk about in a little bit here. Harrison Bader hitting 100. He's struggled at the plate so far this season, and it's not something to be overly concerned about. In the last few seasons, he hasn't been great at the plate anyway. It's more for his glove. It really shores up the outfield. Moving Nimmo over to left field. And Bader in center field, and Tyrone Taylor also subbing in there. Should be pretty interesting. He's having a pretty good spring as well. Pete Alonso, power numbers so far so good. Hitting 269, 2 home runs, a couple RBIs, 7 hits. All of his hits have been for extra bases. He has 5 doubles, 2 home runs, so all extra bases. So his power numbers looking all right. And I guess during the broadcast I was able to watch the other day. They were saying that Pete was telling them that he's really upset about his average last season, which, as a Mets fan, a lot of us were really upset about Pete's average last year. Power numbers, fantastic. Power, they're great. Knocking runs in, hitting home runs, but that average was god awful. I think it was, I don't know, like 217 or something like that. In that range. You can't have that again this season. You want anywhere from 240 to 260. Ideally you'd want the 250 to 260, but I think we'd be happy 240 to 260. See Pete drive the ball the other way a little bit more. Use a little bit more of the opposite field, which he's done a lot of in the past. So, and maybe shorten that swing up a little bit. A lot of long swing and misses last season with that big old home run swing. So maybe cut down some of that this year. Become a little bit more of a complete hitter. Big Pete, still get those power numbers, still get those RBIs, but shorten that stroke a little bit or something. I don't know if I'm not a professional, I'm not an expert. So what the hell do I know? but it just seemed like a lot last year. There's times where he's just really swinging like long. It looked long to me anyway. Without breaking down his swing or whatever. It looked, some of his like a long sweeping motion. Then when he's right, it seems like he has a short compact swing. So I don't know. Francisco Lindor so far this spring hitting 179, one home run, 4 RBI, 5 hits. I'm not concerned about him, Francisco Lindor. I do want to see him get his average up again this season. Last year, a huge dip, huge decline. It's not typical of his career. So you have to believe he'll have a bounce back year. But besides that, power numbers were great. Knocking runs in as well. Defense was fantastic. Easily our MVP last season, I think, in my opinion, was the most consistent player. And also, like I said last season a lot, you could see him stepping up and working with the younger players, talking with the younger players. A lot like the team leader. So I think that if the Mets were ever to name a captain or whatever, that it should be Francisco Lindor. He's been outstanding so far with the Mets. Brett Beatty. So now we get into Brett Beatty. That's one of the where all the Mets fans, our eyes are right on Brett Beatty here. What are we gonna get at Brett Beatty? Send Brett Beatty to minors, trade Brett Beatty, bring in another third baseman. And so what do you do? And so far this spring, Beatty 29 at bats. He's hitting 241, one home run, 3 RBI, 7 hits. Recently, last few games or so, he's been hitting the ball very, very hard. Very hard. Besides the one bunt he had, which terrific. It was a beautiful bunt. They're shifted over, nobody guarding third base, gets the bunt down, and was able to get an infield hit. That's really spring training. Maybe it's not what you want to do, but I still, spring training or not, I still have no problem with that. I thought it was awesome. It looked good. It's smart. It's a smart baseball play, and just for him to get it down, I thought was good. It's any way you can get a hit, Brett Beatty. Any way you can get on, buddy, take it. But like I said, he's been hitting the ball hard. So you look at his defense defensively. I haven't seen anything. Again, I haven't watched every game of the game. A lot of the games are afternoons, and I'm sleeping and stuff like that. And so I haven't seen all of his at bats. I've seen a few of his. I'm sorry, not at bats. Fielding. I've seen him in the field a couple times, and he's looked decent. He's made the plays that he's supposed to make, and a few that he wasn't. Some nice diving places, diving stops, and so he's. I think he's done well in the field as well. So far, Brett Beatty, not a bad spring. Improvement average wise compared to last season. I mean, it's hard to do as bad as he did last season. You figure the only way to go is up, but there's still ways to go down. Francisco Alvarez hit 263, is hitting 263, 3 home runs, 5 ribs and 5 hits. He's looked decent at the plate. Behind the dish, very good. I think he threw out 3 runners the other day against I think it was Washington. I think it was against the Nats, and it was good. It's a great stat to read. Threw out 3 runners against the Nationals. I mean, I don't know. They're the one. I think he was safe. If you look at replay, maybe, but there is no instant. I don't think there is instant replay in spring training. I don't know why you'd want to go to instant replay in spring training. The games don't mean anything, but he looks safe to me. There's another time where the runner overslid second base, and he got tug out that way. But still, it's a runner thrown out. And but I mean, he got the ball there. He got it out quick. 2 of those runners stole on Ottavino, and we know Ottavino has a really hard time holding runners on. So just even getting it close, is a great job by Alvarez. And he also threw out another runner. I don't know if it was last night or it was the game before. No, it wasn't last night. I don't think he played last night. I think it was the game before. Maybe Sunday. I think it was Sunday he threw a runner out. I don't know if it was Miami. or not. But yeah, doing a great job behind the plate. He looks good. He looks. I know he's. I read some articles saying that he dropped some weight and put a little bit of muscle on. And it looks like it too. It looks like it. So expecting huge things out of him this season, offensively and defensively, to kind of take that next step forward. And you start hearing his name with some of the top catchers in the league, like a Sean Murphy or the Adley Rutschman, the kid out of Baltimore. We start hearing Alvarez's name mentioned with those guys. But we'll see. Young guy. I think he's the youngest of all of our baby Mets or whatever the hell you want to call them. That came up last season between Beatty, Alvarez, or Beatty, Vientos, Alvarez. I think he's the youngest of the three. Mark Vientos, on the other hand, he's been struggling. He does have a couple home runs, 6 hits and 31 at bats, but hitting 194. Just really struggling to play. The one game, I think he struck out 3 times. We can't have that at DH. We can't do that again. And I don't know. I don't know where you go from here with Mark Vientos. Just, continue giving him at bats. I say we go into the season with him as our DH and see how it goes. See if he heats up or things change as the season starts. Get a little more everyday regular play at DH, and maybe a little bit of third base as well. But right now it's not looking good for Mark Vientos. I wouldn't be shocked if this continues that he'd be sent down sometime in May and figure something else out for DH. I mean, there's been news reports about JD Martinez again, still being interested in the Mets and the Angels, and the Mets are showing mutual interest. I'm just not buying it. If we wanted JD Martinez, we would have done it by now. I think. I just think the price tag is going to be too much, especially with the Mets with their luxury. The luxury penalty they have to pay for him is 110% or whatever. So whatever you pay him, you got to pay even more on top of that. And I'm no math magician, so I'm not going to even try to put numbers out there and make it sound right because there's a very good percentage chance that it's going to be wrong anyway. So, but last year, JD Martinez, 271, 33 home runs, 103 RBI, 893 OPS. That's what you want out of your DH. But he's also up there in age for a professional athlete, 36 years old. So that's another thing that makes you kind of hesitate a little bit. I think everything I've heard, he's looking for multiple years, and it's just not going to get it. I mean, I don't know if you can do an incentive-based type contract with JD Martinez. Like if you hit these parameters, that gets you an extra year. If you miss these parameters, then it's just a 1-year deal. I don't know. I don't know if that's even feasible or possible. I have no idea. But maybe that's something that a team, any team can do. Say, I don't know, just throwing a number out there. 1 year, $10 million. If you hit, 260 or above and 20 plus home runs, you'll get another year, another $10 million. So that makes it a 2-year, $20 million contract or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if that's possible or if that's even, a thing or not. But that's something maybe that could be explored. Also, JD Davis, his name's been floated out there as well because he's also, the one thing about JD Martinez is he's strictly a DH. But JD Davis being released by San Francisco to kind of save some money in the cap. He, hitting and plays a little bit of third base as well. I just listened to Locked On Mets podcast for today, and the host of that, Ryan Finkelstein, I believe his name is, was saying that JD Davis' name has come up a couple times now as a potential spot for the Mets. I just don't see that happening either. Left, I guess, was it 2022 we traded him? Yeah, 2022 we traded him to the Giants, and he was just really struggling, but didn't have he didn't bash the Mets, but you can tell he was not having a good time in New York. So why the hell would he want to come back? Why the hell would you want him back? It's not like New York has changed. If anything, the Mets, the fan base has gotten even more critical, than they were, in 2022. So, why would you want to come back? I don't understand. And so yeah, but I mean, last season he had a good year with the Giants for the most part. 248, 18 home runs, 69 RBI, 738 OPS. But the last few months of the season, like mentioned in the Locked On Mets podcast, he really struggled. Everything really, took a nosedive. So, that inconsistency is still there. He's not a terrific third baseman either. But looking back at 2019, hitting wise, he played in 140 games for the Mets, 22 home runs, 57 RBI, 895 OPS. The 22 home runs was a career high. I think the OPS was a career high as well. So, it'd be great for him if he's able to somehow figure out how to get back to 2019 form. But I guess he was fairly close last season, but the drop off at the end of the season, really gives you pause. But I don't see either JDs, in the blue and orange. So, and also Sports Illustrated also put out there about Evan Longoria. I didn't realize that Longoria was still available. Now that's not really a route you want to go, but if you had to do it, it's not a terrible route. Just because the experience that he brings. He's been around a long time, 38 years old, played a lot of baseball, a lot of postseason experience, and so some knowledge that he can really pass down. Also help Brett Beatty a lot. Longoria in his heyday was a pretty good third baseman. So, but offensively, it's not a whole lot there. So that's not really an avenue I would expect the Mets to explore. And again, not to rehash what I've said on here a gajillion times, but what I think about the DH spot, how they should use it as a rotating resting spot for those that are a little bit more injury prone or need more rest. Like a Marte, get him in there a good bit. Brandon Nimmo, I know the last 2 seasons he hasn't really been injured, but that could always creep up. Give him a break, get him in there in the DH a little bit out of the field. Pete Alonso, again, Pete's really durable, but get him away from first base a little bit. Give him a break and let him hit. Still keep him in the lineup, but just get him out of the field. So guys like that, just rotate it through. Have Vientos play third base occasionally, and when he's playing third, maybe have Beatty DH. I don't know. It's just there's a bunch of different things you can do for DH. I know we brought in Voit. Things haven't been going so well for him in the spring so far. Choi, not terrible. He's been hitting a little bit better as of late. He does have a homer, a couple RBI, and 5 hits. So maybe that's the route you go. Tyrone Taylor's been hitting well. He has 6 hits through the spring. But I think we're going to start the season off with Mark Vientos. And I think we should start the season off with Mark Vientos. Give him a shot. Give him a chance to do it every day, to hit every day. And see if he can turn it around. And like I said about Brett Beatty, seems like he's been hitting fairly well. He's been hitting the ball hard. He has been getting he had a few multiple hit games recently. So maybe he's starting to figure it out a little bit. And fielding wise, I think he's looked better so far. Again, small sample sizes. And Joey Wendell hasn't been hitting all that well either, but he's a utility guy. Usually that's more for fielding than anything. So I don't know if he'll be our starting second baseman or if we're going Iglesias. I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. Or maybe Jeff McNeil will be ready in time. I'm not sure. He did start swinging. I think it was last week. So that's good news there. If you're not aware, he has a partial UCL tear in his left elbow, which is not a strong arm, which is good. But I guess he was getting some soreness in his bicep and stuff like that, while swinging the bat. So gave him some rest, and Did some MRIs to make sure it wasn't anything more serious, and they said everything looks all right besides the partial tear. There wasn't anything else structurally wrong with his arm there, so he's resumed swinging, and let's see if he's ready for opening day. I'm not really sure where that's going to be, whether or not he will be. So that's what our hitting looks like. Again, it's if we get a couple of those guys clicking a little bit, the Mets lineup should be fine. Sip of iced tea for the working man. But there's huge ifs there. Huge ifs. If the guys that struggled last season struggle again this season, it's going to be another really long year. So transitioning over to starting pitching, has looked pretty good, especially as of late. Tyler McGill has been fantastic this spring. Pitched again Sunday or no, it wasn't last night. Was it last night? I don't remember. I feel like it was last night now. Or was it Quintana last night? I don't remember. Anyway, he just recently pitched. So far, he has 12 innings pitched this spring, 1.50 ERA. I think he pitched Sunday. 15 strikeouts, only 2 walks. Fantastic. It's one of the things he really struggled with last season were the walks. A lot of the Mets pitching did. So McGill has looked really good. Kind of pitched his way into the rotation, in my opinion. Jose Quintana has been pitching well. A 2.08 ERA. His last outing, I believe he gave up 0 earned runs as well. 8 2/3 innings pitched so far. 9 strikeouts, 4 walks. Sean Manaea, 4.05 ERA, but his last outing, 4 innings pitched, 0 earned runs versus St. Louis. And St. Louis had most of their regulars in, your Contreras, Arenado, Goldschmidt, guys like that. And he did really well against them. Luis Severino, only 5 innings pitched, but no earned runs. Take that. 5 strikeouts. Adrian Hauser, 3.86 ERA, but his last outing, he pitched really good against the Tigers. He has 7 innings pitched so far this spring. Jose Budo, 6 innings pitched, 1.50 ERA. I think. Did he get in Sunday? Or was it the game before that? But he had 3 innings, perfect pitching. I think he gave up a hit, but no runs given up. So he's pitched well. So far, our starting pitching has looked really good. Again, small sample size. Only one guy's pitched more than 9 innings so far, and that's Tyler McGill. Quintana is just the 3rd inning short. But so far, everything's looked really good, and you say that kind of with a little bit of reserve there. Spring and things, for starting pitching, things just change just like that. One guy, it starts pitching poorly, then, it's the next guy that all of a sudden half your rotation is looking like crap. And, another guy gets hurt, and just things go bad really quick when you're starting rotation, especially the way the Mets have done it this year by a bunch of reclamation type projects, guys that have struggled last season or last couple seasons, kind of hoping that the Mets can figure out what was wrong and, they can return to past form. So got our fingers crossed, right? We got our fingers crossed. But also, Jose Budo coming up through the system. See what we can get out of him. Joey Lucchesi, he pitched last night, I believe. Gave up a couple runs, but I think that was I want to say that was his first action this year, but I could be wrong. They working him up slowly because of his past injury histories. It's one of the reasons I root for him besides being a Met is his past injury history and battling back. Every time it seemed like he'd get close, he'd get hurt again, and finally, hopefully, he's over that hump. Pitched fairly decent last year when brought up to the big leagues. So hopefully he's over that hump and past all those injuries. Bullpens looked good so far, I think, as well. So overall, the Mets have played much better than expected. Again, spring training doesn't mean anything for anything. A lot of players playing, whether pitching or hitting, that won't be on the big league roster, and stuff like that. So it's hard to say. but it's enough to give you a little bit of optimism. Yeah, Ottavino's looked all right. Brooks Raleigh has looked fantastic. Drew Smith has looked good. Jake Diekman's looked all right. Really need him to be well. Jake Diekman, with him and Raleigh being our lefties out of the bullpen. Tonkins pitched all right. Fujinami, it's kind of interesting with him. He's gotten in a couple games now since he's come back from his sabbatical in Japan, having to take care of some family business or whatever it was. You're not seeing that 103-mile-an-hour fastball or whatever. It's kind of low to mid 90s right now. But I guess he was asked about it. He said, no, there's nothing wrong. He just, that's how he builds up through the spring is, it's not really kind of inching towards being able to throw that electric fastball. And which is smart. You just want to come out of the gates and throw, 130 mile an hour. It's, ease up to it. It's like putting your toe in a swimming pool. Yeah, it's cold. Kind of ease into it, and then your body gets used to it, and you're swimming, you're doggy paddling and stuff. But I don't know if Fujinami. I don't know if he's going to make the rotation, if he's going to make the cut or not, or if he'll start the season down in the minors. The Mets do have I think 2 options left on him, or they could send him. I think bring him up and set him down twice. I think that's how it works. I could be wrong. Nate Lavender looked fantastic this spring. Pitched another good inning the other day. He is on the minor league roster. They still could use him in the spring training games if need be. Like I said, he pitched. I don't know if it was. I think it was Sunday he pitched. Could be wrong. I probably am wrong. But like I said, pitched well. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to AAA. Starts off well there if he doesn't get a call up pretty early. Sean Reed Foley has pitched decent, as well as Johan Ramirez. The whole bullpen has pitched pretty decent, I think, so far this spring. So the big news was the other day, Edwin Diaz is back. Got to hear the trumpets and, see the run out and everything like that. So that was pretty cool, seeing all, 3,000 fans in attendance getting hyped up for it. It's a different type of vibe than it is at Citi Field, but still, still nonetheless pretty cool. I was really interested to see how he'd come out and how he'd pitch, and he, was fantastic. Fastball was there. I think he got up to 98. That slider was filthy. Sinker was filthy. Working the count. Overall, he looked really, really good. He looked very good. I don't remember if he struck out the side. But he definitely got a couple strikeouts out of that inning. Ran the one. I think the first batter ran the count to 3-2 before he struck him out, and he looked really good. So that gives me a lot of optimism for the season coming up with Edwin Diaz. I know a lot of people point to his injury last season as being the start of the downfall for the Mets. I'm not sure about that because I don't know how many blown saves we had last year, but I don't feel like that was the biggest issue. But then again, you lose your closer. So now you're feeling people into close games, and that throws your bullpen into disarray, taking this guy from here. Every bullpen guys, they have their set spot in the bullpen. You have your setup guy, your long relief, middle relief, blah, blah, blah. And you start moving those guys around to get out of their comfort zone. They get out of their comfort zone a little bit and throws them off. So it very well could have been the beginning of the end for the Mets before the season even started during the World Baseball Classic when he got hurt. But I'm not 100% sure about that. It wouldn't explain why the hitting was terrible. Was the hitting terrible because they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves because the pitching was the bullpen was off. I don't know. I have no idea. But I just know it wasn't all that great. But yeah, Diaz's return was awesome. Great to see. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and that's all I have for today. So I'm going to go ahead and read our sponsors before I get out of here. Jason Fine, J Fine Law, attorney Big Al. You can reach Big Al at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Jason Fine specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and falls, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. In the Garden State of New Jersey, the offices are located in Cherry Hill on 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. Then in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the offices are located at 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. And in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the offices are located at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. The phone number there is 267-888-2980. That's Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. Then head on over to monkeycoltcoffee.com and get all your gourmet coffee needs. They have bourbon chocolate chip infused coffee, toasted coconut rum. They have a Sumatran medium roast blend. Sumatran medium roast. That's hard to say. A whole bean or ground. They also have an organic flavor, Perula, Florida. One of their newest flavors, golden honey agave. And for a limited time, they have a cigar house flavor. Like a smokiness kind of flavor to it, smokiness and cognac. Go to monkeycoltcoffee.com and check that out. It's available for a limited time. They're also selling barrel aged honey as well. And head on to their swag shop. Get t-shirts, coffee mugs, tumbler cups, cold brew pitcher, K-cup adapters, and paradise rum cake at monkeycoltcoffee.com. And be sure to use that promo code at checkout. The promo code is OOTB Sports for 10% off your order. That code, once again, is OOTB Sports for 10% off your order at monkeycoltcoffee.com. So yeah, that's all I have Mets-wise for today. Like I said, our hitting, some positives, some negatives. Again, small sample sizes. I really like to see Harrison Bader hitting a little bit more, a little bit better. Starling Marte. Before I get out of here, batting lineup wise, I don't know. So traditionally, in seasons past, it's been Nimmo. Nimmo lead off, and then after that, it's kind of who's available, and you have Pete fourth, and so on and so on. I know last year was a whole bunch of different varieties, different placements that Buck was trying last year. Either trying to get people going or people were out. Either way, but there was a whole bunch of different combinations that he was going with. So I don't know if you have Francisco Lindor leading off or batting second. Lindor is more prone to steal bases than Nimmo is. So you have Lindor lead off. Your leadoff guy gets more at bats. Lindor, one of your best hitters. You have him lead off. Nimmo second. I don't know who you'd go in the third hole. Do you go Marte in the third hole? I would want Marte more at the end of the batting order, like a 7, maybe 6, 7. So I don't know if you go Lindor, Nimmo, maybe Pete third, or you go Alvarez third. No, I'd want Alvarez, I think, 6th. Third is too high for Beatty, I think. I just don't see it working. I know they had Pete batting third the other day. Well, just for food for thought here, let's go Lindor, Nimmo, Pete, Francisco Alvarez 4th, 5th, Mark Vientos, 6th, Starling Marte, 7th, Beatty, 8th, Bader, or maybe Wendell. No, yeah, Bader 8th, and 9th, Wendell. If you look at it the other way, go Nimmo, Marte, Lindor, Alonso, Alvarez. Alvarez would be 5th. Then Vientos 6th, Beatty 7th, Bader 8th, and Wendell 9th. So yeah, it's going to be tough. Yeah, I want to see more stolen bases this year. So hopefully Marte stays healthy and gets on base. I'd like to see Lindor, continue with stolen bases. Maybe even push it a little bit more if he can. And I want to see Nimmo steal. I think Nimmo can steal. He's got a little bit of speed to him. He's kind of antsy out there, so he got all twitchy and stuff. So let him run a little bit. But I'd like to see the Mets steal more overall anyway. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the lineup. New coaching staff and stuff like that. First time coach. So let's see. Yeah, so let's. I'm curious to see what they do with the lineup. And opening day starter, I'm not sure where they're going to go with that. Is it going to be Jose Quintana, Tyler McGill? I know McGill's opened than opening day before. I'd imagine probably one of those two. I would think. I'd probably lean more towards Quintana right now, but I'm not really sure. Maybe Severino. I don't know. I'm thinking McGill or Quintana. Quintana being a veteran, do you give it to him? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, that's all I have for today. Thank you for checking the show out. Be sure to check all of our other shows out. I'll be live again this Friday morning, 10 a.m., talking Las Vegas Raiders football and LA Kings hockey. A lot of stuff going on there. Las Vegas Raiders football. It's a lot of good. A lot of good things just happened recently. A couple sad things just happened recently with roster moves and stuff like that. Bummers type stuff. So a lot to talk about there. And LA Kings, pushing for playoffs. And then this Saturday, 10 p.m., join me and Cowboy Dave for the Atomic Drop podcast, talking WWE wrestling on the road to WrestleMania. So again, there's a lot to talk about there. A lot of good stuff. So be sure to check me out on the other shows. And I promise I'm much better than I am on this show right now. So and make sure you follow everybody on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch, also TikTok, Instagram. And so, yeah. All right. That's all I have for today. Be sure to check me out again next Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Let's go Mets.